Well, God bless you, mentor me, students in class. This is Dr. Yundrae. Certainly excited to be able to visit with you with a recap from last week's teaching that we shared. I'm just going to go over a few things really quick with you. I trust that you've had a great day. I trust that your evening will be great and that you will rest and be ready for tomorrow. Certainly appreciate Prophetess Calloway for the opportunity just to share with the class and different things like that. And so let's get started. Let's just do a recap of what we talked about. We talked about your new mindset is going to be determined. A lot of this is going to be determined. A lot of things will happen in response to your new mindset will tie into your actions. These I'm going to share two basic principles with you out of 50 principles that are coming out of my upcoming book. But what I'm going to primarily focus on right now, I'm going to focus on what is your goal and do you believe you can achieve it? This is something we talked about, so I want to remind you of this. What is your goal? Have you taken the time to write out your goal? Do you believe you can achieve that goal? I believe that you can. I know that you can. And certainly it's time for you to know that. It's time for you to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this. And I believe that you can do it. So we talked about discipline, the discipline of playing hard after you've worked hard, patting yourself on the back, reminding yourself that you've done a great job. From last week to this week, you all have done a great job. You've been persistent. You've been consistent. You've been determined, determined rolls into being persistent. So, but certainly you all have displayed some of these things already. And I want to encourage you to keep up the good work. Now, the next thing we talked about was your debt-free plan. Now, have you written out your debt-free plan? Have you gathered your bills, some of the bills that you have, and have you put them before you and put them before your plan put your plan before the Lord and said, I will pay this bill, I will take care of this bill, and I will do it within this period of time. So even if you give yourself 6 months, even if you give yourself a year, whatever you do, work towards that goal. It's something that will not always happen overnight, and you've got to be patient, you've got to be diligent, and you have to really, without a shadow of a doubt, one thing you have got to do, you have got to have a made up mind. I mean a solid made up mind that I will not deviate from this plan. I will not spend this money that should go on this bill. I will not spend it on anything else, any other luxury, any other just mindset getaway. I will not do that. All right. So discipline yourself when it comes to your debt-free plan. Now you have your plan. You know what bills you're going to start with, right? Right. Okay, so you know what bill you're going to start paying off. You know what bill you're going to deal with first. And sometimes it's good to tackle those small things first. The reason I say that is because the scripture speaks about the small foxes destroy the vine, and they ruin the vine. They root up the vine. And so sometimes it's good to take care of those small things, those small bills. Maybe it's an AT&T small account you had, and they saying that you owe $200. And maybe it's an old cell phone bill. Maybe it's an old cable bill. You know, maybe it's an electric bill, and you just don't have to deal with it right now because maybe you have the electricity in another name or your loved one's name or whatever the situation may be. And of course, hey, listen, you all, I've done it. Okay, I've done it. So I'm sharing things with you all that I know really truly work. So taking care of those small things first may not be the worst thing to do. If you are not the type of person that says, "Hey, I'm going to take on this big thing right now. I'm going to defeat you. I'm going to pay off that medical bill. I know it's $6,000, but I'm going to pay it off." Okay, that's fine. Keep in mind when it comes to medical bills, there are organizations that will negotiate your medical bills with the billing department of these medical facilities, and you may be able to save some money. All right, you may be able to save some money. So you all keep that in mind. So, but when it comes to medical bills, do your research. Start pulling up some of these companies that actually will pay off a portion of your medical bills. There are ministries that's all they do is focus on helping people pay for their medical bills. Okay, so I personally would go that route when it comes to medical bills if I were you. Now, when it comes to those other bills, those things that show up on your credit report, for an example, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, those three credit bureaus, you want to make sure that anything that's on those credit bureaus that you take care of, because you will want to finance a home, you will want to do some other things, and that right there could be a determining factor that could set you back a year or 2 years. So I certainly want you to keep that in mind. So pay your bills. That is true credit repair, and that is paying your debt that you owe. Why? Because you are not an evil person. You are not a person that borrows money and does not repay. If you have someone in your family, if you have a friend that you owe anything to, you call them on the phone. Listen, you call them on the phone, and you make an arrangement to begin to pay those funds back to them. Now, if you have a business deal or something that you had in the past that didn't go the way you planned on it to go, or if it didn't go the way they planned on it to go, whatever you do, make sure that you stay in communication with them. Do not make promises. Okay, don't make promises. Okay, just share your intentions and share what you will work towards doing. Do not commit to something if you were not in the wrong. If you're not in the wrong, do not commit to paying a debt, and it is not a just debt. Don't do yourself like that, because you will be setting yourself up for a setback. Ask me how I know. Okay, I know because I've done it. Be determined to save and budget your profits. Now we're talking about monies that you make, the profits that you make. You want to sit on that money. You want to sit on that money for a while. Do not be so quick to spend that money. Do not be so quick to go and just have a lavish night out with that money. Sit on that money for a while. Go wait about 2 weeks or 3 weeks before you spend that money. And when you do that, you'll find yourself in a position where the desire and the urge that you had to spend that money a particular way, you may not feel the same way at that 2 week mark or at that 3 week mark. I want you to keep that in mind. This is very important for you. All right. Now, the next thing is number 2. Let's go to number 2 now. Money is a weapon and more than just a tool. We talked about that. And money, it truly is a weapon. It is more than a tool. And I want you all to make sure you don't let anyone change your mindset concerning the perspective of money. Yes, it is a tool. Okay. It is a tool. And beyond money being a tool, money is a weapon. Money can be used not only for you, but money can be used against you. You can make business decisions because you have money one day, and then the next day you don't have it, and that therefore the money that you had that was a tool now becomes a weapon against you. Now you're in debt. Now you have made a decision to do something that was not really the wisest thing to do, but because you had the money in your hand at the time and you had the power in your hand at the time to do it, you made a decision, and now that decision you're having to face, and you're having to deal with that thing, and it is now a weapon against you, causing a setback in your life. You want to make sure you understand money is also a weapon, and it's so many different ways that this thing can hurt you. So you want to be careful how you utilize money. Be careful what decisions you make when it comes to money. Be careful what things you commit yourself to, what things you obligate yourself to when it comes to money. These things are very important, and they are important for you to remember, and they're certainly important for you to know that you cannot afford to make certain mistakes pertaining to money. Okay? Keep that in mind. Now, money, if you handle it the wrong way, money can be something that will destroy you. Money will be something that will cause you to look down at other people who are less fortunate than you. If your heart is not right, money is a weapon against your own heart. Money will cause you to be judgmental. Money will cause you, money will cause you to just be a way that you really don't want to be. Okay? So you want to really, really, really pray, and you want to seek God and tell the Lord, I trust you when it comes to money, and I trust you when it comes to the things that I'm believing you for. And do not give me this weapon of money in the measure that I desire to have it if you see, Father. Not if, but when you see. When you've already seen that it's going to destroy me. Don't give me that great amount of measure of money. Bless someone close to me with the money who has the right heart, that has a heart to sow into me and to bless me and to help sustain me. Father, if you just want me to have it, but you don't want it to have me, whatever you need to do, Father, bless me to where I have access to financial freedom, even if it's not through me. It may be through your cousin. It may be through your brother or your sister. It may be through a good friend. But God has a creative way of making sure you get the desires of your heart. I just thought I'd share that with you. I don't know who that's for, but I thought I'd share that with you. The next thing is to understand the basics of stewardship, and you all understand that we really spoke extensively about that. Being a good steward. There was one thing that God dropped in my spirit after the class, and that is being a steward. Being a good steward also includes the things that you have access to, the things that you have in your possession that you are not using. You have cars that are sitting, but you're not using them. They can be of use to someone else. You have houses that are sitting, but they can be of use to someone else. God says that's part of being a good steward. If you're just having things sit idle, you have a business, but the business is sitting idle. You're not a good steward over that business. You're not a good steward over an idea. If you are not doing anything with the idea, you are not a good steward. So being a good steward is beyond just being a good steward over a house or keeping it clean or keeping your car clean and respecting the things that God has allowed your hands to obtain. The last thing we talked about, the art of giving, and that's very important. I want you all to understand that the art of giving is very powerful. And when I say the art of giving, let's not get caught up on the whole phrase, the art of. I mean, this is not deep. The art of giving is simply giving out of a pure place, giving out of a pure intention, making sure that your motives are pure when you are helping people, when you are supporting people. If you're helping to feed someone, make sure your heart is pure. Don't have in your heart that, oh, I can't wait to go tell such and such, such and such what I just did. No. Your heart is not pure if you're thinking like that and if you're communicating like that. So make sure that you understand that the art of giving primarily is having the right heart, having the right motive concerning the things that you have determined in your heart to give to someone else. If you go and brag on what you did for someone else, the Bible says you have your reward. Do you understand? The moment you open your mouth and boast about what you've done for someone else out of a place that's not pure, that's why David says, I boast in the Lord. So when you boast, you cannot boast in your flesh. The Bible says you have your reward. Okay, so y'all pull it up and take a look at that about having your reward when you speak of things that you've done for someone. That's a recap of what we talked about last week. I pray that it's been a blessing to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us at info@barbercallawayministries.org, and we certainly will receive those emails. If you want to post something in the Grow group, post those things in the Grow group or the Mentor group, and certainly I know that Prophetess Callaway will be sure to get back with you all and to answer questions and communicate with you all. I love you, and I love you in the name of the Lord. I pray that your evening, again, as I said, will be blessed. I pray that you will be stay encouraged, be encouraged, and walk encouraged in the things of God. What God has done and started in you, it is a good thing. It is a good thing. The only one that can destroy this and stop this is you. The enemy does not have power over your destiny, but he uses your will to destroy or to hold back and keep you from your destiny. He knows that you are supposed to be at a predestined place at a predestined time. He knows that you're supposed to be at this place and then at this place. If he can get you in your flesh to skip and try to bypass a place that you were supposed to be, he knows that you're messing up the order and the flow of God's move in your life. Make sure you stay in the spirit. And when I say stay in the spirit, what I mean is stay out of your flesh. You understand what I'm saying? See, we hear that all the time and we get excited and we say, oh, stay in the spirit. Well, staying in the spirit, if I have to just say it to you very simply, is to stay out of your flesh. Stay out of the things that your flesh desires. Stay out of the things that your flesh just wants to do a little bit of everything. Stay out of your flesh. And therefore it makes it very possible and it makes it easier to stay in the spirit. God bless you, love you, and we look forward to speaking with you all soon. And listen, hey you all, those of you all who are going to be in the city, we look forward to seeing you at the Good Friday event. Make sure you go to barbercallawayministries.org to see and find more information. Make sure if you're not on our newsletter, get on the newsletter. Get on the newsletter. Go to the website, barbercallawayministries.org. Click on Join the Newsletter. It's down at the very bottom of the page in the middle. You will see it right there. All right, you got it? God bless you. Have a great evening. Bye-bye. I'm Dr. Yundrae. Until next time. God bless.